no offense to anybody, but this is easily my favorite podcast I've ever done.
Stop, dude. Oh, you're making me blush. All right. Obviously, we're doing Drink or Leave It. Andreas is here. What's up, motherfucker?
Yo.
So stoked, dude. Yo, and this time, I didn't slide into a DM. You slid into mine. I was so stoked about that.
Ooh, I sure did.
I love that shit. Yeah, I mean, you because you were on party nights with Ben Rosette from Strawberry Girls. So like, that's a pretty hip song. But it's cool that like, you know, you saw the episode and we're like, oh, I want to drink beer too, because like, why the fuck not? We're in a pandemic.
That's exactly how it happened. I saw Ben Rosette posted it, and I was like, I want to drink. I hit these guys up. I was like, let's do it. And then I guess he said you emailed me, but I honestly I don't think I ever saw it.
I think it probably got into spam, dude. I don't know. Like I sent out a lot of emails, so
it only checks DMs, bro. That's it. It's DMs or nothing.
DMs, yeah, DMs.
Yeah, it's solid notifications. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We have 3 beers, though. We have Freshies as a Tonewood. We're going back to Tonewood again, by the way. It's a pale ale from New Jersey. We got, what else we got? We got Daisy Cutter Pale Ale from Acre. This is located in...
And these guys sent me these in the mail, too.
Yeah.
Because we're all business, boy. That's what we do.
We're all business.
Dude, I gotta admit, man, I find that very professional.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if it's legal, but we're doing it. You know
sure
what I mean?
It is. Sure it is.
Hopefully the wrong person is not listening to this. And then Workhorse Brewing Pale Ale. It's American. I don't know where it's from either. This looks good. So let me tell you this real quick. So like for whatever reason, I wanted to test out these beers right before I shipped them out to you. I was like, I just want to give a taste and see, like, you know, just drink one beer out of the 4 packs and, like, I don't know, just give it a shot. The first beer I opened was a 6-pack. I don't even want to say what the name was. I don't even want to say where I bought it from. Bro, it was expired by 2 years. I was like, what the hell is this drink, dude?
Is that the night you canceled? Because we're in a cover band together. So you canceled practice that night because you said you got the boom booms, right?
Dude, I literally was at a toilet for about an hour. Like, no bueno, dude. Like, it was 2 years old. Like, the expiration date was like 2018. I was like, you know what? Like, I'll just go get my money back the next day. We're in a pandemic. It's okay. Shit happens.
It's okay.
Did you say I'll just get my body back the next day?
I tried to. That and my money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, and then we'll be testing these on like a 0 to 5 scale. 0 being like malt liquor and 5 being like top dog, top shelf fucking beer. I don't know.
Okay, so it's like is it like what if I like it or not, or if I think it's like really good?
If you think it's really
isn't that the same thing, dog?
I don't know, because sometimes it's like, okay, like let's say like you watch a movie and it's like you could think a movie's really good, but you won't want to watch it again.
True. Like
that
Tusk. You ever watch that movie?
Yes.
That's kind of what Tusk is.
Yeah, Tusk is great, but like I'd never want to watch it again.
Yeah, I just don't want to experience like that true pain of like, oh my God, I did not know what I was getting into. And then boom, it's like,
it's like objectively, I could taste this and be like, this is a really good beer, but I don't want to drink it again. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yeah, some of them are too heavy. And
so are we just gonna do both, or we'll do like 0 to 5 whether you like think it's good, and then 0 to 5 whether you drink it again.
All right, bet we'll do that.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to create a new rule, and now it's official. It's been written in the script. So we're going to do that shit real quick. Let you pick a beer, my dude. Whichever one. You're the guy.
All right. Let's start with the Freshies.
All right. Let's go. Tonewood has a very good reputation with their beers.
All right. So
cheers, boys.
Tonewood Brewery. It's in Oaklyn, New Jersey.
Correct.
Oaklyn, yeah.
Sorry, I'm late. Cheers, y'all.
Oh. You would like their IPA, Andres. It's Fuego. It's just so good, dude. It's got that like what's the word I'm looking for? It's not too bitter, but smooth and doesn't have that syrup coat. I don't know. I enjoy it.
I like these new pale ales that breweries are making. That it might as well be an Indian pale ale, but it's not because they hop it up. You know. This reminds me of like a Dale's Pale Ale. I don't know if you guys have had that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
See, you can appreciate good IPAs because you're in like the hotbed of IPA, like the mecca of it in California.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you ever gone to like Sierra Nevada or anything like that?
Oh God, dude, their beer's so good.
Because that's up in Chico, right?
It's in Chico. You know, I've been to Chico and I've drank a lot of Sierra Nevada while I'm in Chico, but I haven't actually been to like their brewery or anything.
Oh, you got to go to Ground Zero for it, dude.
Yeah. No, Sierra Nevada is good. It's a great it's like the IPA that's in every gas station here.
Yeah. I feel like the comparison for like Californians have like Sierra Nevada is like it's not like a Bud Light or a Coors Light or anything like that, but it's everywhere. You can get it anywhere. It's on tap. Ours is Yuengling. Yuengling is our version of that.
Yeah, Yuengling. Yeah, Yuengling.
Yeah.
I always get confused. I always forget like which beers are certain areas. So like Yuengling, am I pronouncing that right? Yuengling?
Yeah, you are pronouncing it right. Yeah.
That's the East Coast, right?
Yeah, it's East Coast, Pennsylvania. Isn't that in Pottsville?
Pottsville. So it's like it's like in like the Pocono area, like out in the Pennsylvania area. So
okay.
Yeah,
it's about like
site.
From Philadelphia.
You guys know like
miles.
So in like Washington and Oregon area, they have their own light beer, and I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Like a style.
It's like their version of your guys' Yuengling. It's Hams or no?
Hams,
I've heard
Flat Tire.
Hams. Hams is like a cheap beer, I think, like an old cheap beer.
And Flat Tire, I hear is kind of tastes like Yuengling.
Flat Tires are good.
Or Fat Tire, not Flat.
Fat Tire. Yeah, you're right.
Fat Tire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up regional beer Washington. I know my friend like loves this beer. He always gets it.
Trying to think of stuff that's up in that area.
We definitely have it around our area if it's on the East Coast, because the furthest out I've seen breweries come in is Sierra Nevada. I haven't seen anything else that comes out further west.
Nothing like that I can think of off the top. Like Sierra Nevada's huge, so
right. That's what I mean. Yeah, they're able to produce a lot to put it out there.
Because Yuengling's pretty much all over the country now at this point, except for it's slowly getting out to the West Coast.
They're slowly getting out to the West Coast. Yeah, because I remember when we were on Warped Tour, like I had to bring. I was talking to Andrew Zell. He worked for CI Records. He was like, "Dude, can you please bring Yuengling?" I was like, "No, dude, we're driving in the minivan. I'm sorry." And then we're hopping on our bus. Like, I can't, dude. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah. Although you would get a free case of beer and water every day. So I got
old school.
Rolling Rock. I get Rolling Rock, or I would get what's it called?
Rolling Rock.
Do you want Rolling Rock? I did like the most. That reminds me of like the most white trash thing I ever did, because I went to like, hear how white trash this is. I went to a Godsmack concert with my mom and my stepfather when I was like 13 years old. And I remember I had a freaking Rolling Rock while I was there. And I was like, damn, dude, like, I feel like I'm like an adult now. Like, I feel like I'm making moves here. I'm at this concert watching Godsmack. And like, sipping a Rolling Rock.
I think when I was in high school and like everyone would always either drink Coors, Bud Light, or Budweiser. If you showed up with a case of Rolling Rock, that was fancy.
Yeah.
Like, they got Rolling Rock.
Oh, dude, the 33 on the side, man. It's the branding. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Give me a Pabst. If you want to call me white trash, I'll start drinking Pabst because that shit fucking slaps. Oh, we were drinking that too. I was definitely white trash on Warped Tour. Love that shit.
Yeah, people love PBRs. So interesting. I mean, yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're good.
They're infusing THC with PBR now. Did you hear about that?
No way.
Yes, they are. They're like one of the first to put that into consideration. Like, I think they're already rolling out with the product. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Facts, yeah. Like, that's not fake news, dude.
That's not fake news.
I think people love PBR so much, or the people that do love it so much, is because they have like a very fond memory of drinking PBR for the first time.
That's like the most punk beer there is, too.
Yeah,
like all my punk buddies, man, like that's their go-to is some PBR, bro. Like that's the go-to move.
It's also like the Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying my boy from We Were Sharks, like, he gave me a shirt that has a Misfits fucking logo with a PBR behind it. I'm like, yeah, dude, like,
that's sick.
Shit's fucking
super.
I guess, yeah, PBR is like, yeah, the scene's beer, because they always have it at emo night and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's cheap as shit, and everybody likes it, so.
And it's pretty good. Yeah.
I played a emo night one time in LA a few years ago, and the green room was just like a huge thing of PBRs, and we were just like sitting there trying to get drunk off PBRs, and then we're like, maybe later, like we'll come back later.
Emo night, take notes. That's definitely a commercial idea. Like the couch is made of PBR, the fucking tables are made of PBR.
Oh, like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they have some sort of, I don't know. They're always about that PBR life.
Yeah, just take a beer from your couch that you're sitting on, just crack it open. Like, oh shit, everything's made out of PBR in this fucking place. Those emo nights are huge. LA and Brooklyn were definitely the go-tos for emo nights. I've seen mixed reviews about other emo nights throughout the country, but it's great when you have guests like you and others like MGK or who else came on, like Aaron Gillespie or Spencer from Under Oath. Like, it's cool to get that all hyped up and stuff for shows.
Yeah.
I just played, like I wasn't like a guest DJ or anything.
Mm-hmm. You had a full
like emo night LA. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Emo night LA, they have like the big floor downstairs where they have like the famous guests come and just like play their favorite songs on the DJ set, and everyone's just going crazy and shit. And then upstairs they have bands playing. I think the night I played, I was playing with like the guy from Somerset or one of those bands that has like Summer in the name of it.
Yeah.
And so it was cool.
How was the capacity like for emo night? Like, what was like the max cap that they could usually hold, like a couple thousand?
Let's see. So the upstairs room, I felt like it was like maybe 250 to 300. I don't know. And then the downstairs room felt a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm always also really bad with these things. Like sometimes I'll be like, whoa, did you see like how many people were there tonight? And like I was just completely wrong about that. Yeah, it would be like there was like 30 people. Like no, there was 60. And it's like, oh. Or I'll be like, wasn't there like 1,000 people? I'm like, no, it's only 800 capacity. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I mean, you're close enough. If we're going by the Price is Right standards, like you're pretty much in the ballpark. So
yeah.
Listen, you're just
maybe it's like 500 to 600 downstairs, and
you're a glass half full kind of guy.
Yes,
that's what it is.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm just like, whatever seems humble.
Yeah. Just like with these beers.
What are we rating this beer? What are we rating the Freshies?
All right. Let's see. Freshies, honestly, it's pretty freaking good. I like it a lot.
I knew you'd like it. Just the California vibes, man. You'd like the hoppiness.
I compared it to a Dale's Pale Ale, and I think this has a little bit less hops than a Dale's Pale Ale, and I think I like that. It's a little bit less bitter. But it still has a nice pale ale. Freshie has a freshy taste. I'm gonna give this one a 5 on both. I drink it again, and I like. I would honestly like buy this beer, you know. Yeah. Because like I think the older I get, the less.
This is some wise shit that's about to come out. I see it.
Not that I'm old, but I'm just saying, like, just the older I get, the less I feel like I'm in the mood for like a really hoppy IPA, you know. And this to me is like a very I don't know, just accessible beer that like I can just sip on and like.
It's very fresh. I love it. The name is super fitting. It's fresh. And you know, I wish you could try the one I didn't do the last one, but I've had Tonewood a lot. It's not too far away from my house.
Okay.
But the Fuego, that is their quintessential. That's their best beer, I think. If you like Freshies, I think Fuego would be like the perfect taste for you.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 4.7 on drinkability, and I'm going to give it a solid 4 to, like, buy it again. Because, like, once it gets starting too heavy, then, like, I can't drank too much of it. I mean, I'm 28 years old. I guess it's old in some people's eyes on TikTok or Twitter or something. So I don't know, dude.
Fair.
I'm gonna lock it in at 3.5 for me, which okay. It sounds bad, but I think it's actually a really good score. Just like the barometer's got it. You got to be critical of where you're giving these 4s and these 5s, guys. You can't give it out. Because I can't,
dude. I'm all in, man. If I like something, I'm just like 100%. I love it. Let's go. if I see it, like if I see a movie I like, I won't even take the time to like think about like plot holes or anything. I'll just be like, I loved it. It's a 10 out of 10. Let's watch it again.
Yeah. Are you
That's
very critical?
I think a movie that did that for me was Step Brothers when it first came out. I literally watched it immediately after the movie was over by myself. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Step Brothers is a classic.
Dude, that and like with the Star Wars movies, like I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I'm sure you are, Andreas. Like
I am.
Is that 100%
why? Am. Actually, what?
Is that why Darth Banks is the title?
Yes.
Yeah. What's it called? It's not a conspiracy. It's
fan theory?
A fan fiction.
I think it's legit how that movie was supposed. I think it's how it was supposed to go.
Maybe.
Can you imagine? That would have been a travesty.
I was watching that fan theory video on YouTube. I think it's like an hour long or something. I don't know. I sat there and I watched the whole thing, and then immediately afterwards, I started working on a song, and I use Logic, and so like when you start a song in Logic, you have to name the song before you actually start working on it.
Yep.
So I just named it Darth Banks because I just finished watching that video.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I always put like a like little placeholder, just like names that like you did with Darth Banks. Like I think the last one we did was I sent it to George. It was called Funkadelphia because I was doing like a pop slap rhythm to it, but like some of those placeholder names they work.
Sometimes they work. Yeah, I wrote a song that I named initially. I named it like top 10 anime betrayals of all time because I had just watched like another YouTube video about top 10 anime betrayals. Dude, and I was like, that would be a good name for a song. But I have yet to actually use it in a name. I'm waiting for like the right song to use that as a name because I think that's a cool name for a song.
Yeah, that has to be your like the apex of your career has to be that song. Like what's he gonna come out next? It's got
top 10 anime betrayals of all time.
Yeah. And as soon as you start searching that, nobody else is gonna name this song like that. If they are, they're plagiarizing you to a T. So let's be honest.
Yeah. Hopefully. I watched the new Mandalorian episode last night, and then I watched some Clone Wars as well.
The Clone Wars.
Because did you guys watch the new Mandalorian episode?
I haven't actually watched all of the first season of it yet.
Okay.
I've watched the first season. Yeah, I didn't get into the second season yet. The first season was hella fucking badass, dude. Like
dude, you gotta watch the new season, man. I
can't wait.
They have characters from not that it's a spoiler, but they like tie in Clone Wars stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's the animated series, right?
Yes. Yeah. That they have to. They're completing that timeline in general. And like Clone Wars, like I didn't expect to like it. My cousin, when he lived with me at the time, he's like, dude, you have to watch this. I know you're a Star Wars fan. He's like, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I enjoy this. I was like, all right. And then like it was like the first 2 episodes. I'm like, wow, this is something I wish they did with
it's pretty great
live action, but still it's fantastic.
I agree. Well, the last season, the one that Disney did, is like amazing. Like the graphics are incredible. The story is great.
What platform was it on before Disney picked it up? Obviously, because they bought all Star Wars.
I think it was on Netflix.
That's right. I was going to say that. That didn't sound right in my head at all, but thank you for confirming that. That's great.
Yeah, not the early movies, but episodes 7, 8, and 7 and 8 were definitely on Netflix, and I think the 8th episode, like when Disney Plus came out, they couldn't get episode 8 until their contract with Netflix was up, and then they put it on Disney Plus. Like, wow, it was insane. I was like, wow, dude, corporate is just
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm like watching corporate like legal battles happening in front of your eyes. Like it's so weird.
So since you're a Star Wars fan, I mean, George, like answer this too. What is your opinion of Solo?
That's my favorite out of all the new movies.
No way, really?
Solo's my favorite out of all
Rogue
the new
One's
movies.
my favorite out of them, but like
me too.
Solo, I've heard like because I'm like on a bunch of like Facebook fan groups that just talk about this stuff, and a lot of these people are the kind of people that listen or watch the movies with rose-colored glasses, and they see all the good of them, and they have a hard time critiquing them, but. Mm-hmm. Like I liked Solo, and then when it got all the harsh criticism when it came out, it's like I get it. It wasn't exactly what you were hoping for, but it wasn't a bad movie.
Dude, I know because I've also heard some people talk bad about it. I don't get it. I thought it was like amazing. I think Solo is like one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. Like I loved it. I thought it was like so good. Yeah. I even thought the story was like fresh. And it was really cool how they showed the whole dynamic of joining the Imperial Army as like a soldier. Sure. I thought that was like very interesting for Star Wars. Like they usually don't show things like that. It's just like these are the stormtroopers. But here we have like a little like, hey, this is how you sign up. And I even like the whole war scene where they actually looked like soldiers. It was interesting. And like Han Solo being like, aren't we the bad guys here? You know, like this is their planet. Like what are we doing here? I don't know. I loved it. I thought the actor was great. I love Donald Glover as
he's
Lando.
Amazing, man. He's amazing.
And the end of the movie, dude, freaking like crazy, dude. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
That's good. Yeah, because I thought the same thing, and I just like I don't understand where people like watch the movie. If like maybe you were disappointed with the actor that they chose, because I know that there was a YouTube fan movie made where they had a guy that looked pretty much like a spitting image of Han Solo as a young dude, and they obviously didn't use him, but the guy did a great job. Like he still gave you.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
I genuinely hope there's like a sequel.
Ooh.
I genuinely hope for it.
They're gonna have to, dude. I hope. It's just a money machine.
Yeah. I honestly, with the new movies like 7, 8, 9, I think those movies are like very entertaining. But I'm not like I don't feel the need to watch them again.
They don't have this. They don't have the same. I hate to say vibe because that's like it doesn't really encapsulate what it is, but definitely with 8. 8 was the one that disappointed me the most, and it kind of killed my enthusiasm for 9. But 9 actually ended up being my favorite by far because of how dark. Yeah, and it's not even like a story thing, but how dark they made.
Oh, so dark.
How dark they made Darth Sidious at the end.
Yeah,
that was like the cinematography around that. If you're watching that in a theater with like the I think it's like 3D audio. I don't know.
That surround sound, yada yada.
Dude,
yada,
like that shit was intense, man. Like that revitalized a lot of stuff for me, and I wish they would have took it that direction from the onset.
Yeah, it was a bit spooky.
Yeah,
I mean, like collecting all of the Jedi souls in that moment. It's like, whoa.
George wants to say something.
Now it's just like collecting all of those souls like throughout the end of with the Jedi, and you know having all the Sith like fight off that one big battle. I don't know. It was extremely dark to the point where it spooked the fuck out of me. And I was like, this is great. Like, go.
It was awesome.
Going. Yeah, it was good.
So George, how do you feel about the new movies?
The new movies I thought were pretty great, dude. Honestly, I mean, I was disappointed with 7 as well. I mean, it's Star Wars. It's a whole new chapter. I mean, I think they're gonna go backwards instead of forwards now that these 3 are done. But I mean, all in all, they did the best that they could. And you know, I don't think you can ever be happy with Star Wars movies. Sometimes I don't know. Like when I saw Episode 1, I was like, what, 9? And I thought that was the most badass fucking movie ever, dude. Like
I love Episode 1.
Right? It's so good. Like
I will never understand how anyone could not say they like Episode 1. I love that movie.
Right you got gate.
You got Liam Neeson as a Jedi. Like what movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think like the weakest link of that trilogy is Anakin, the actor. There's like some moments where some of his acting's kind of tough. I get that. But other than that, dude, the storyline is incredible. Action scenes are awesome. I will say this. The thing about the new movies, I was actually talking to my friend last night about this. The thing about the new movies that it's just like, I can't believe they didn't do this, was they didn't one-up the Jedi fight scene from Mustafar from Episode 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
None of the Jedi fight scenes in the new movies one up to that one.
No.
Like that is still to this day the greatest choreographed Jedi Knight scene ever.
It put the prequels like over the top. That's what did it. It was that scene.
That whole fight scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin is like so beautifully choreographed. It's insane. It's intense, and they didn't do that with the new movies. Like the lightsaber action was like,
very heavy, hard hitting.
You know what I mean? It was like hard hitting, and that was cool. I liked that because like I think that's like a little bit more realistic. But it just they didn't do the choreography or anything of that, you know?
No.
Just watching Darth Maul do it. I mean, whoever that actor was that did that shit, dude, bro. It was like, what?
Yeah. So I'm hoping to see some more Darth Maul, some more Solo. And I heard that they're going to do something with like the Old Republic or something, like before.
They confirmed that they have Ewan McGregor coming back to be Obi-Wan Kenobi and that.
For like a show, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's awesome. I mean, I think The Mandalorian is incredible. Like, that show's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not going to go away for a long period of time. I mean, now the universe is, like, infinite at this point with creating what they want to do.
Totally.
It can't stop.
Do you guys watch South Park at all?
Yeah, I love that shit, dude.
I used to watch it a lot more than I do now because I don't have cable anymore. So
totally, there's like this one. There's this one scene where Mickey Mouse is in his mansion and he's like answering phone calls and he's just like, "What? I said more Mandalorian." So funny. He's like, "I want more Mandalorian." It's just funny to think that like Mickey Mouse is like in charge of Star Wars and stuff.
I mean, isn't that really what it is?
They portray Mickey as this like dictator within Disney World, like
deranged, like this deranged crazy person.
I told you not to do that, huh? And just like fucking at you, like he's gonna kick your ass.
You'll be like, "Whoa, that bat is so sexy!" And then Randy's like, "That's a bat." He's like, "It's basically a mouse with wings."
Dude, that blew my mind. I love how they interpreted like as the pandemic special to Randy fucking up the entire fucking planet. Like
the pandemic special was his like jar of weed special. Yeah. Dude, I love it. That's pretty funny.
They fucking killed it, dude. Okay, so what do you guys want to do next?
Great.
Let's do Daisy. Let's do Daisy Cutter Pale Ale to get into the next one.
This is amazing.
Daisy Cutter Pale Ale.
I don't know where it's from.
It says Lincoln. Is it Lincoln, Nebraska, or is it Lincoln Hops?
No, it's saying Chicago, Illinois. It's saying so.
Okay. Well, yeah, what is the Lincoln? What does that mean?
I think it's the hops that they used.
Interesting.
Because it says Balmoral and it says Lincoln on the other side. So,
Zach, how are your hops doing? I know you were growing them.
My hops are doing fantastic, man. I got the second batch growing on the side of my house right now.
You're growing hops?
I make beer on the side, man. So I grow.
Dude.
This room that I'm sitting in right now. It's I got a fireplace behind me. I bought this house about 2 years ago. It was completely just overdone with 70s wallpaper, shag carpets, but it had good character. You could see I had a vision for it. My wife had a vision for it. So we've gotten through the whole entire upstairs, got the wallpaper taken care of, and we made it to the den. And there was a wet bar that initially when I looked at the house, I was like, dude, there's a fucking wet bar with a sink. Like, duh. But it just really wasn't like, it didn't make sense. The feng shui of the place. Like when I have people over, nobody gravitated towards it. I'm like, it doesn't really make sense. So we took the bar out when we renovated this entire room. And now we have like a coffee bar there, but it's not finished. So my plan is I want to make, it's kind of like an alcove where I'm going to have a kegerator and have beer on tap. And my idea of this is I want to brew my own beer with my own hops that I grow at the house and have my own homebrew on tap at all times.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Dude,
eventually start your own microbrew.
That's the dream. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, but that would be my dream, man. I wish.
Just find some space in an industrial area. Start a microbrewery.
Yeah, it's I think it's like, especially now with because marijuana just got legalized recreationally in New Jersey.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that's going to stunt the growth of craft breweries in New Jersey or if it's gonna boost it. Because the laws here in this state compared to where George is, because George lives near a place called Neshaminy Creek, and they're notorious for having like punk bands come in. I think like Rancid played there last year.
Yeah,
like, really
hardcore
cool shit.
shows, punk shows. Yeah, they're pretty sweet with it.
They have shows all the time. In New Jersey, breweries can only be open till 10 o'clock. They cannot sell food. They cannot show any sporting events. They can't have live music unless it's originals. And I think you can't be opened more than 4 days. It's really weird laws. So
interesting. Breweries here are also open till 10.
That's
usually.
Weird.
Yeah, breweries here are, but there's like a shit ton of breweries like everywhere.
Yeah.
They usually don't do live music. Some of them maybe do, but in Bakersfield, my hometown, there's a brewery here called Lengthwise. Yeah. And honestly, I gotta send you guys their beers because they're honestly, like, I'm not saying this as a bias or anything because I'm from here, but it is the best beer I've ever had. Like, they have the best Imperial IPA, they have the best stout, they even do a Kettle Sour that's like amazing. It's amazing.
I believe you. Yeah. Sour's a specific taste too. I've tried a couple sours in my day. For some reason, my palate doesn't really correspond with sour beers. I don't know why. It's just very strange. So
sours, dude. Guess what? Sours are hard to drink. They're not like
they are.
They're not the most accessible drink. But a Kettle Sour is basically an accessible version of a sour, and it's delicious. They have like a pomegranate one and a blueberry one, and it's like amazing. Like you'll like it. I know you'll like it. It's not like
really selling it, honestly.
I belong to a Facebook page that it's called Homebrewers Association. So it's people that brew at their house, and you just share recipes and you share tips and like your experience with stuff. So the other day, you remember High C, the Ecto Cooler flavor from Ghostbusters?
I do not.
No.
Oh, dude!
I do not remember this.
Hold on, let me like pull up the picture because it's so cool. It's it's Slimer. You remember Slimer from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, the green dude. The green ghost dude.
So when Ghostbusters came out,
is this the cartoon or the movie?
The cartoon. So
okay, I remember the cartoon. I remember watching that like on WB.
So this is what. Oh God, hold on. This is what the.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
So some guy made a sour with the Ecto Cooler flavor and that green Slimer color to the beer, and he shared it. I was like, bro, like this is the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Genius.
Have you tasted it?
No, he just showed a picture of it, but because I saw that it was a sour, and that's what reminded me of it. I'm like, oh my God, that must be so crazy.
That's very smart. Yeah, that's a smart idea. I love when like breweries come up with really smart ideas for their beers. It just makes me want to drink it. It's like, that's clever.
Yeah. Like Neshaminy Creek, dude. They're the way they like design their cans and their logos and stuff. Like it's very abstract. Like it's very colorful. And dude, you walk into a store like I know where their beer is coming from because like every beer is completely differently designed in these drawings. Like the one IPA they have, and it's called John. And it's like Ben Franklin and Liberty Bill, and it's like John's like John means like a thing or a person or a place, like that John, this John, blah 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 blah. Like so, it's like Philly's like lingo kind of shit.
Anything you want it to be at the current moment.
Yeah, it's like fuck. It's like fuck can basically be anything. So it's like John this, John that. I don't know. But that and Dogfish Head also. Dogfish Head really supports the music industry. They have bands that come through their brewery every once in a while.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah, they're huge. They got famous doing like their session IPAs. They do a 60-minute, 90-minute, and a 120-minute. So like the intensity varies, but they're huge now, man.
Yeah,
Dogfish. Where are they from?
Delaware.
Delaware, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I almost said Massachusetts.
Yeah,
which is nowhere near it. And dude, honestly, like this Daisy's pretty good, but I don't think I would like drink it again. To be honest,
it's very.
I'd agree.
Yeah, it's very
good.
light.
It's good.
It is good.
Yeah, it's very light, but it's just like I don't know. There's nothing that stands out about it.
Yeah, the funny thing about like drinking the same type of beer, because they're both pale ales, it's like, oh, this tastes familiar, but then there's also like just little things about it where you're like,
yeah,
I don't feel as passionate about this one for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
There was only one microbrew that I thoroughly enjoyed. I can't remember what I was telling Zach about, but there's this company called Foreign Objects. The can of design looked like it was Fruity Pebbles, and it tasted like Fruity Pebbles, and I haven't drank it in years, and they still have it, but it's hard to get. And oh god, it's so good. Oh my god.
Short. I think I showed you. You came over the one night. Because there's a franchise. You probably have one out in California. It's called Yard House.
Yes, we have.
Yard House is like they have like they have a bunch of tapped beers. So when I went there, I went there like after work or something like that one day, and they had I was looking through the list, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get something based off its name, like the coolest name I can find, and one of them was called Space Dust.
Dude, Space Dust, it's huge out here.
By Elysian. Oh my god, that shit's so
Elysian
good.
Is huge out here.
Is that Colorado or is that California?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was California just because of like how often I see it, but I don't know for sure.
Space might be delicious, dude. That was one of the best beers I ever got by accident.
Space Dust, I totally agree. In fact, it's funny that you say that because I think the first time I ever went to a Yard House, I also got a Space Dust. I was just
dude,
like,
look at that.
Yeah. I think after a while, I mean, like I said, like it's not that I'm old, but I just think like the older that I get, there's something about IPAs that I'm not too like obsessed about anymore. Like I think there's like a syrupy flavor sometimes about it that I'm just like not too like I'm not in the mood for that.
Yeah.
But I think Space Dust eventually for me had like a very syrupy flavor. But like I used to drink it all the time, and then like one day I was just drinking it and I was just like, this is like really heavy and syrupy. But I think they make another IPA that I really liked. Or they have like another beer that I really liked, but I forgot. Space Dust is good.
Have you ever had Evil Genius?
Evil Genius, no.
So they're notorious for doing satirical names. So they're their most famous one in my opinion is Stacy's mom.
Okay.
From Fountains of Wayne, I think it is.
Yeah, Stacy's mom.
Yeah,
got it going up.
So like, just imagine. Like,
did Bowling for Soup get any kind of rights to that, or what's up?
No, that's Fountains of Wayne.
Yeah, it's Fountains of Wayne that does it.
You're thinking of
the same
1985.
I am thinking of 1985. Yeah.
Because I think he says Stacy. Oh yeah, Stacy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Okay, no, you're right. He does say the lyrics. God damn it! God damn it!
You're good, man. You're good.
They're geniuses with marketing because, like, let's say, like, you're at a bar, they have a good beer selection, and Evil Genius is on there. You got Stacy's mom. Everybody knows Stacy's mom of our generation. So you're at a bar, you see the beer list, and you go, like, you've had a couple beers, you're enjoying yourself, you're feeling good. Stacy's mom, like, that's genius. Like, immediately you're gonna go to that, and it's really good, really good. So you gotta try if you see it out.
I do. So I mentioned Dale's Pale Ale earlier. So the company that makes that, they're from Colorado. They're called Oscar Blues.
Oh, no
and dude, they have the best names for their beers. Like they have, I think they have like a Mexican lager, and it's called a Beerito. Like instead of burrito, Beerito.
I like that.
They have one called like Can of Bliss, but like cannabis.
Nice.
It's like super hoppy. They have.
I like their dad jokes that go along with the naming of the beers. You know
yeah. It's charming.
Yeah.
They have like a coconut stout. It's like an imperial coconut stout. It's like super strong, but it's like delicious. And I think they call it Death by Coconut. I don't know. I feel like they got good names for their stuff. Oscar Blues is probably one of my favorite like breweries, other than lengthwise. But yeah.
They're doing
you guys.
Right?
You guys should try it out sometime. I don't know if it's like prominent out there as it is over here, because in California,
we'll do some research.
Dale's Pale Ale is pretty popular out here.
Yeah, Dale's Pale Ale definitely made its like mark. I feel like because I see it more and more everywhere I go.
I feel like that's one of the original like craft beer IPAs.
Yeah, it is. I went to one of their brewery spots when I was in Colorado one time, and even like their food was delicious. They had like beer battered tater tots and shit. Like it was really good.
Oh, dude. Honestly, man, like I think it would be cool too, like that you're so highly interested in, alcohol in itself, like beer and stuff or whatever. Like bands like August Burns Red or a couple other bands, like they actually partner up with these brewing companies locally, and they kind of release like signature stuff. Like that's something I could totally see you doing, dude.
I'm waiting to do that. Like I literally, yeah. My dream is to do like a collab with a brewery.
That'd be tight. Your marketing is genius, dude. I remember when you released hold on. I know what the album is. I'm thinking don't say anything. Heroes, Villains, and all that jazz. When you released that album, like it was I saw it prominently through Facebook and through Instagram. And like I was like, is this the guy or is this the album cover? I couldn't remember. And then like I listened to the music. Wow, this is really good. I was like, oh shit, this is just him. Like so it was. I just love the way you go about marketing yourself. Like it's very pop, like experimental. Like you have like a certain vibe to it, dude. Like it's really colorful. Like I thoroughly enjoy it. Kind of like what 21 Pilots does with their color schemes, like every album in a sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally. It kind of happened on accident, to be honest. I wasn't really thinking too much about marketing, as so much as I was just like trying to like be fun. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I'm also like I was a theater kid in high school, so like wearing costumes is like second nature to me. Like I just like wearing costumes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And after I realized how like I said, like it was kind of on accident that like the marketing, I guess, of it was like so well done for like a DIY artist, I guess. Yeah. And after that, I was just like, dude, like this works, like having like a color, like very colorful and like wearing costumes, like it's fun, like just like I always thought it was. So I'm gonna like keep doing that. So with the next album after that, I try to do like something different but similar. have like a very solid color, be colorful, wear a costume kind of thing. And I'm gonna keep doing that from here on out, just because it's fun.
Dude, it's just it catches your eye like right off the bat because like it's one solid plate of color like behind, so it's the yellow. And then your recent album, the recent album's red. Like it's so eye catching that you really can't miss it when it like shows up in your feed. It's like, oh, what's this? Like, oh, it's Andreas. He's releasing new music. Sick. Like, I want to check that out. Like, I don't know.
That's dope. I'm actually happy to hear that. I don't think I've heard like somebody like explain that to me the way you did. And
we're your focus group, dude. That's what we do.
Yeah, you guys are my like PR team or something.
I have never went to like college for marketing or in the music business industry and stuff, whatever. But like I like to think I have an eye for marketing. So I don't know. Like the Limelight podcast, like the amount of people I've heard saying it looks like LimeWire. Like I was
literally gonna say that. I was literally like, dude, this shit is LimeWire.
Yeah. It's cool. But like, that's subliminal. It's like, oh, okay, like, and of course it's music related, except on this show we don't steal people's music and distribute it. We talk about it. Like it's just something that happened. Like the guy that designed this logo and stuff is a good friend of mine. I had he's a tour manager, merch guy, photographer for We Were Sharks, pop punk band out of Canada. Let them sleep at my house a couple times. They witnessed the Eagles win the Super Bowl at my house, so I said this. They're cool peeps. So
shit, that's tight.
Hey, Kay, so you're the happiest moment of our lives.
Correct.
Do you guys like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Love that show.
Yes.
Love that show.
Yeah,
dude. It's a perfect representation. It's a perfect representation of Philadelphia.
Dude, those two episodes are like non-stop laughter, man. Freaking Charlie's whole thing at the bar.
Yep.
Bro, the thing is, that's how Eagles fans are. I'm not kidding.
It's super like on point with it, yeah.
He's like, Charlie, you're gonna have to put your foot back in that trap.
In that bear trap? He's like, oh,
yeah.
Damn it.
And then when he's on the phone with Max, he's like, ah! He's all crazy.
Did you ever see the fan video of like all the like the real fucking like celebrations that happened like melded together in a compilation video?
I have seen that. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Like that legitimately could have been put into an It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. It would have been real.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
It was the greatest.
It's Always Sunny is top shows, man. Top shows.
Dude, that was the greatest moment ever.
I was just talking about this with Zach too because one of the music videos that you kind of portrayed from with Bad Boy was that 70s show, and I was a huge fan of that when I was a kid, and I still am, dude. Like, it was like so creative.
Classic show.
Yeah. I have the stash box and everything.
Thank
it's somewhere
you, man.
in this room. Like I think it's like 8 seasons or something. It was a lot, and they just took it off of Netflix, so I guess I wanted to pull out the DVDs again.
Yeah, it's messed up. I don't know why they did. Like, what are they going to put it on now?
When you wrote that song, did you go into it like with the idea that you were going to do a music video like that?
No, never. Usually when I write songs, it's so like it's like so disconnected from the time where I'm thinking about making a video for it, and I like it to be that way because I don't know, just everything comes out a little bit more natural. But the song, I mean, from the moment I wrote it to the moment it was done, it was actually a pretty long time. And then from that moment on, it was also a long time for me to figure out what I wanted to do a video for. And I think I was just sitting around with my friends one night, drinking some brews, and we were just like, it would be funny if we did a That 70s Show video. And I was like, that's a great idea. And then, hit up some people. I hit up the skating rink in Bakersfield, which is my hometown, and so I'm actually friends with like the family that owns the skating rink.
Nice.
So I just hit them up, and I was like, "Hey, do you think I can rent the place out for a few hours?" And they're like, "Yeah, totally." And we did some of the other shots and got the costumes and everything, and yeah, it turned out really fun. We were trying to figure out how to do that, like the whole like car scene where everyone's like rocking out and stuff.
Right.
And at the time, I was like, lucky for me, I was working at a production company that had a huge warehouse, and I was asking some of the guys that I worked with if they could help me out with it. And basically, we just parked the car in the warehouse, and we put like black drapes around the entire car, so like everything was blacked out. Turned all the lights off. And then we put lights in the car, like to light our faces up and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we had our friends walking by with lights to look like there was cars driving by us. Kind of.
Ooh, that's fucking creative.
So if you go back and see the video, you'll see that there's lights and it looks like a car is passing by us, kind of thing.
Movie magic, man. That's what that stuff is.
Yeah, dude. I did all this shit on a dime. This was 3 years ago,
Yeah.
And I barely had enough money to make a video, so I was trying every little thing I could to make it work. But it was cool how it turned out because it was so DIY kind of thing.
Yeah, DIY is great for your personal vision in itself. Because I know there's some things that I can't do, it's still DIY in a sense, but the logos for this podcast or the intro, Clint Tustin made it, and he tours with Galactic Empire and this and that, and blah blah blah. Yeah. Let him make the intro, that's great, but throw him a dime or whatever. But it's still DIY. But DIY is fucking hard, man. You're doing it. You don't have a label. You're just doing it yourself.
That is DIY because you're hiring somebody to do something for you.
True.
Kind of thing.
Sometimes I see DIY where it's you're literally doing everything. You're doing all the producing. Like Ben Rosette is a perfect DIY guy. He does everything. I don't know if he does the videos, but I know he does plays all the instruments.
I think he does. Yeah, he has a green screen in his garage or something.
Yeah, his garage, it seems to be completely just ready to go for whatever his mind creates.
He's a genius.
Yeah. He is definitely DIY as full. I think it gets to a point where being DIY, you need to work with other people no matter what, as long as you're hiring them.
That is
true.
As
you're hiring them to help you out with something. I think that's the essence of DIY. I think the opposite of DIY is signing a contract where somebody gives you money and then they own you, kind of thing.
Right, correct. They own your brand. They own your music with whatever you release for them. Mm-hmm.
And they front all the money for everything, but they own you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'll market you.
Yeah, marketing. Yeah. It's always interesting when bands complain about being on labels, especially when they've been successful. It's well, that label marketed you and made you successful. Could you have done it without them, kind of thing?
Right. Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword with that kind of stuff, because there's definitely people that definitely have the talent. Mm-hmm. That can do it themselves, but for a person like you, like when you started doing this, did you always go through the creative side of it thinking that you want to be strictly DIY, and like in the future, that's pretty much what your plan's going to be, or are you open to maybe like letting some outsiders in to collaborate with you? Other than, I know you collaborate with Ben and stuff like that, but in terms of like a permanent like fixture in what you are.
I would say that like a solo artist, I didn't have the mindset that I was going to be DIY. I was just trying to make like a really good album. And then from there on, I was trying to get signed to like a label to help me out. And I couldn't get signed. So I was like, all right, well, no one wants to sign me. I'll just do it myself. And then I just started doing everything myself for years and years. And now I'm like, what's the point of like signing a label contract when you can get so far on your own, kind of thing? If you just front the money yourself, you save up the money, you work hard, why sell yourself to somebody else if you can do it yourself?
Would you say that it's almost obsolete to even have that as your goal anymore if you're coming up through like the ranks of becoming a musician in a band? Do you think that's like an obsolete business model?
I think it's 100% obsolete. I wouldn't say that it's not it's not that it's not going to exist anymore, but the idea of feeling like it's necessary to be signed to a label, that's like an obsolete idea. I think that so many artists have gotten so far on their own, and really what it comes down to, it's just like any business, like you open up a restaurant and then you open up 2 restaurants, then you open up 3 restaurants. Next thing you know, some bigger company is knocking on your door and they're like, hey, we want to open up this restaurant in a different city, and so on and so forth. And then you're like, well, why would I want to do that? And they're like, well, here's a huge fat check. And they're like, okay. So that's how the music industry is. There's a lot of artists, there's a lot of bands. They make it so far on their own, and then eventually a label comes in and they're like, hey, we'll give you this fat check if you let us own you, and like we'll help you, grow. But like it's all got to make sense, kind of thing. I wouldn't say that I'm like 100% against being on a label, but the situation would have to make sense. But I'm definitely not like striving to be on a label. I see like there's like a lot more growth that can be made on my own, just like working with the right people. Just like, I mean, these labels, they hire marketing people. So why can't I hire a marketing person?
That's such a good point, man.
Right, exactly. And the ball's in your court, like entirely. You know what I mean? Like you're not really, you're in demand already as it is without the help of anything else from like a corporate company. So to put that advantage into your situation, I mean, it's basically like it's how you want it to go now. Sometimes it's not
totally. Totally. And at the end of the day, when you're an artist, the number one important thing is that you want to make good music and you want to have fun. So it's like, as long as you're doing that and no one's getting in the way of it and you're like making a living off of it, why would you, I guess, strive to look for somebody to own you or like somebody to like, I don't know, take over kind of.
Yeah, I talked to Zach about this before. I mean, it's you can make these phenomenal albums in your bedroom anymore, and like you see people like Post Malone, or I mean, Post Malone is DIY. He never got signed to a label, but he went to a producer, worked with that producer, saved his money, did all that, released his music, and like Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, exactly. So it's like that.
Gave him a fat check.
That check was probably pretty fucking fat in his defense.
Yeah. I have a friend who works at a pretty major label, and she like kind of talks to me about how like certain things work and like how they like give artists like fat checks to sign with them, and it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like I can see why it's enticing, kind of thing.
Just imagine if they're giving that fat check to you, though, how much they're making in order to get you.
They have an idea.
Obviously, they're not going to spend that kind of money to not make money. It's like when, to bring it back to Star Wars, it's like when Star Wars was bought by Disney. Disney paid over $1 billion for that stuff. You don't think they're just going to be pumping out stuff and making revenue off of that?
Right, exactly. You own everything. You own the rights to the figures, the video games, etc.
Like, they're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Your analogy of a restaurant, or just a small business opening up stuff, like that's such a great way to put it, though. I never really thought of it that way.
Dude, I 100% view the music industry as the restaurant industry. Like, to me, it's the same thing because I'm like, so whenever I go on tour, I'll like stand on my merch table. I'll talk to everybody who comes up. I'll sell my own merch. You know what I mean? I'm like there. And that's the same thing as a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, the owner comes up, thanks you for being there. Maybe they'll take your order, or maybe they'll bring you your food. You enjoy the food, and that whole experience screams, come back, right? Oh, I love the food. The owner was so nice to me. Everyone was so nice. It was a pleasant experience. I want to come back to this restaurant. Music. You go to the show, you buy the merch, you watch the show. The artist was so nice to you. I want to come back to their show.
Dude, that's genius. That's such a great way to put it.
Whenever I go on tour, dude, to me, it's like, it's a job. It's a 24-hour job. You drive all day, you show up, and like, even when the show starts, you're there. You're not in the green room. You're there. You're talking to people. You're selling your merch. You're accessible. You're thanking them for being there. And it becomes like this whole experience. And to me, that's like how you make sure that people want to come back to your show.
For sure.
Yeah.
Same thing how you want to make sure they come back to your restaurant.
Yep.
Yep.
It's the dedicated fans. It's the people who love you for all the right reasons, like the overall factor, the personality, the conversation, the product, like everything. So like, it's just,
totally, yeah.
Dude, you gotta, that's how you do it, man. I agree with you 100%. Like, that's how I was when I was on the road for a year with Poeta, and dude, it's just, I mean, kids appreciate that. Like, they really appreciate you, like, sitting down, having conversations, like, and there's some deep conversations with some of these people, and like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It makes it like a, you know, a more worthwhile job. You know, it's not like you're just showing up, getting drunk with your friends and playing a show. It's like you're showing up, getting drunk with your friends, and then you're talking to people about their lives and stuff. And it becomes more than just music, because music is always more than just music. It's like, you can listen to a song and be like, yeah, I'm having a good time. But then you can listen to a song where it's like, oh my God, this song is helping me out with my life right now.
It almost makes it like, for certain songs, it's almost kind of terrifying for me to go back and listen to certain things because of what it meant at a point in my life. Even though I think of that song or that album as like something that's really important to me, I almost don't want to touch it because it's like, oh shit, it's gonna bring back like these emotions that I felt, because it does do that. It's insane.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Oh God.
I have like a few friends that they're like, I don't want to listen to that song. Like, I can't listen to that song. And it's funny because to me, if a song like brings back like a bad memory, I want to listen to it. I'm like the opposite. I'm like, ooh, let's listen to that song. Let's open up that bottle, you know?
It's personal torture to yourself. But I totally get that, because sometimes I do that to myself. I'm like, I want to feel like that pain that I felt.
Exactly.
Or the opposite, I want to feel that euphoria that I felt during this. There was a time in my life like that. I want to feel that high.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you get something that's emotionally like stimulating like that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, music, that's why music is so special, because it's the only thing that can bring you back in time. You know, you can think about something and you can see a picture, but when you hear a song, it actually brings you back to that moment, you know?
Yeah, it's weird, man.
There's a Netflix documentary, the long story short, to put into perspective. They took people from a retirement home with dementia and certain issues. They played their favorite songs from back in the day, and they were revived entirely.
That's crazy.
It's a great documentary. I don't know what it's called. If somebody's like, Andreas, I'll send it to you. Dude, I teared a little bit, dude. It's like you have these... Dude, it's just like music's so powerful in itself. Like, it's therapeutic. It's just, you know, all in all, fantastic. And
I agree.
yeah, and to get off of that note, unfortunately, so I'm gonna rate this Daisy Cutter a I'm gonna give it like a 3-2.
I'm gonna give it a 3 that I think it's good, and I think I'll give it a 3 that I drink it again.
I'd definitely give it a 3 if I drink it again.
I'd drink it again, but it wouldn't be like my first choice, but it wouldn't be like my last choice.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
It's 2.8 for me and what I like about it. And then 2.5 dead in the middle in terms of
Workhorse. This is the American Pale Ale. This is our last beer of the night. It's a 5.3% ABV, baby, 16 fluid ounces. Crack that bad boy open.
Once again, cheers to your guys' professionalism and getting beers out to me.
I appreciate you, brother. I really do.
Yeah, this is sick. This is, no offense to anybody, but this is easily my favorite podcast I've ever done.
Stop, dude. Oh, you're making me blush even though you can't see me. Oh.
This is it right here.
I love it, dude. A casual conversation is very simple to Zach and I. And, like, I was doing this by myself for the beginning for a while. And then I asked Zach, I was like, dude, like, we have to come up with segments. Like, we're going to start talking to a lot of guests that have been booking. So just come on. He's like, all right, bet. And then now we're here.
I think definitely a dual thing is a lot more enticing. Just, I don't know. It's more fun.
Plus, like, there's a lot of things that he is thinking of that I am not in the perspective. Like, he, like, with our industry that we're in, Andreas, like, I know a lot about that stuff. And Zach is also very proficient in, like, classic, modern, like, all of that. But specifically our scene, like, I'm in that as well as Zach is, like, somewhat. And then he has more professionalism on the other side. So it just fits very well, honestly.
I listened to, I don't know if you guys know Anthony Jeselnik. He's a comedian.
Yeah, I'm a huge comedy fan. So.
Okay, same. So I listened to his podcast, and it's like
that's aggressive comedy to like, by the
way. That's my shit right there. Yeah. So his podcast is like pretty. It's pretty new. It's not like crazy, but it's like him and his best friend. And it originally started, his best friend like works for the NFL or something. And it originally started off as like a sports podcast, but later on it's just like, now it's just like a bullshit. Like they just say whatever. And it's just fun. You know, like I was drawn to it just to hear like Anthony Jeselnik like shoot the shit. Mm-hmm. But like their banter like back and forth is always fun. And then like sometimes they have like another person. So I think like 2 or 3 people is pretty cool for a podcast.
That's why like with Two Bears, One Cave, Zach and I are huge fans of that with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer.
Okay. Oh yeah. My friends are obsessed with this podcast called Doughboys, I think.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Doughboys, like DOUGH.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
It's all like when they put it on, it's like it's pretty fun. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, this is fun. They'll just like spend an entire episode talking like I don't know, just talk about anything.
I was thinking of like that, not like to put it to this level or anything like that, but so I was thinking about it today because I was driving to a winery with to go to a birthday party. Like I said, that's why I was a little late today. And I forget, my wife asked me a question. She goes like, because I listen to, like, podcasts are primarily comedians right now, right? Like that's who's taking over the space. It's comedians.
I agree.
And even though, like, it is an art form like being a musician is, and I love being a musician. I love playing music. I've never once listened to a podcast and thought, like, I want to be a comedian or even thought I could be a comedian. So my wife asked me, she goes, like, why do you listen to this stuff?
Yeah, it's strange.
Dude, and like I thought about it because I started getting into, it's called the Honeydew Podcast with Ryan Sickler. Okay. And he does it with, he did an episode with Tim Dillon. And Tim Dillon's like this wild, like crazy, like political conspiracy satirical guy, which I love that kind of stuff because it like points fun at how stupid people are for believing what they believe. And I just love that. Mm-hmm. And dude, like, podcasts, when you get it, the reason why it's so different than a formal interview, like if you do an interview with, say, like Rolling Stone magazine, it's the fact that you're trying to push an agenda or you're trying to push a product, you're trying to push a certain character or an image, but it's the fact that like it's so nice to hear somebody have a normal conversation.
It's sincere.
And see what they are. That's why I like doing like having a beer with somebody like that. That's what everybody wants. You want to see what somebody that you admire is like when they have their guard down and it's like they're at their most vulnerable.
Dude, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, that is like the best thing about a podcast is that it's genuine and it's stripped down and there's not a lot of I don't know, there's not like pressure. It's just people talking. That's like the whole idea of a podcast. It's just people having a conversation.
And honestly, dude, this hasn't happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you, Andreas. But I mean, I'm sure like when you're touring full time, like when it was a thing, before. Hopefully, it gets back to that. But like, how many times have you been set up with interviews where the same questions are being asked? And I'm sure it's exhausting.
Dude, you know what? Again, not to speak badly on anybody, I'm so happy that you guys didn't ask me like anything. Like it wasn't every single interview or podcast. Like not to speak badly, but it's always badly, just like. So how did you get your start in music? What was the first instrument you played? You know what I mean? It's always that. It's like I end up telling the same story over and over again. So
right.
I'm glad that I didn't have to do that.
The only question I'm going to ask you right now, though, not to put you on the spot, but how was the live stream with Hail the Sun and Travis?
Oh, how was it?
Yeah, how'd it go?
Like as far as
like live streaming wise, production wise, viewership wise, like experience wise.
Oh, okay. Like full package. How was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the actual experience itself was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. We went to Chain Reaction, and I'm very familiar with that venue. I've played there many times, and we were rehearsing for it for like a few weeks. Played it, had a great time. I was kind of anticipating how awkward it was going to be because there's nobody there. It's just like a few guys filming it. I was anticipating that. So I was like, what can I do to make this more fun, not only for us, but for the viewer? So I had my friend like hooked up on the side stage with like, I guess like laugh tracks and like audience tracks. And I told him, I was like, hey, like in between songs, like, hit the audience track or like hit the laugh track, or like if I'm speaking in between like songs, like, just like hit all the effects tracks, and we're going to make it just like seem a little bit more fun. So we did that. That was fun. And then the other two guys played and they recorded their sets. And then I think it sold pretty well, and it felt like I was just playing a show and I got paid for it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And paid my backing band, and it was a fun experience. And I used it I used that whole thing to like help sell merch that I was dropping. So I think altogether it's a pretty great thing. It's a pretty powerful tool to do a live stream as an artist. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'd like to do it like very often, because I think these things should be a little bit more scarce. Like it should feel special, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Just kind of like if you tour too much, like sometimes I'll go on tour and like I'll be on tour 3 or 4 times a year, and sometimes I'll show up in the same city that I was in like a few months ago, and there's like less people, and it's like, damn, like
for sure, yeah,
there was way more people here last time. But it's because those same people are like, oh, he comes here all the time, I don't need to buy a ticket this time, I can wait till next time, kind of thing. Like if you become too accessible, then people are going to take you for granted, kind of thing.
There was a couple cool things that, because like obviously nobody anticipated this being this low at all. Like I think we all can agree we thought we'd be back to normal by now.
Dude, I knew, like I straight up knew when everything shut down, I was like, touring's not coming back for a few years. I knew it. Like I knew it.
Your scope probably was different than mine. I think like I didn't really think about the touring scene at all, but it like makes total sense now because there is so much pressure on that first band that's going to do it. It's just kind of funny because you've had to see a lot of ingenuity between a lot of artists and a lot of even production companies on how they're going to make money right now. And I think one of the coolest things was, I never really even thought this would be a thing, but like Pearl Jam did it's not a live stream event, but they did an event online through a third-party website where they had a concert that was pre-recorded, but it was like 2016.
Oh, cool.
And it was specifically, I thought it was cool because it was Philly when they got their banner up in the rafters for having like 20 sellouts or something like that. But like,
that's cool.
They did that, and then another band. I'm a huge Tool fan. Maynard James Keenan from Tool has this side project called Pussifer, and they did this album release / live stream event where they filmed a music video, but for the song they like had to record it as the sun was rising, at a specific time for where the sunlight was positioned on the band.
That's crazy.
It's like, dude, like that. It's just opening up a whole new like array of tricks that artists can use to make money and perform and do like these different things that you're not expecting.
I agree.
So it's cool. Like it's awesome.
I 100% agree, and I like that entire like observation that you've made. And I honestly have made a very similar observation, and I'd like to add like onto that.
Awesome.
So everything you said, 100% facts. And to add on to that, like the idea where people have to be more creative to make a living or to gain others like attention or interest, I think that's a great thing. I think that's awesome. And I think that, I mean, obviously the world is in a situation that isn't awesome, and obviously like people are people are in a situation that isn't great at all. But if we're just going to look at like the positive side effects of things, yes, people have to be more creative. People have to be more innovative if they want to grab somebody's attention, you know, and it has to be on the internet. And even when touring does come back, there's going to be a lot of venues that are closed down.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's going to be harder. I remember when I first started like touring or trying to tour in like 2012, there were so many like DIY spots to play at. There were so many small venues to play at. There were so many options. And all it took was just like sending a band a message saying, hey, can you please like help us get a show here, and I'll help you get a show in my town, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be way harder to do now. And
yeah.
And that is unfortunate, because that is like how I got my start, was just asking other bands if I can play in their town for a show in my town, kind of thing. Correct. Show swapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough. But with everything, you know, everything's tough. And I think that like trying to figure out a way around that is going to make you stand out even more. So I don't know. I think it's like a cool thing. I think it's a cool thing that everybody's forcing themselves to be more innovative and more creative, you know, because it's a very hard time to try to get somebody's attention.
For you when you go back on tour, like I assume that you've kind of like you've made a plan on like how you're going to get back, but do you kind of have an understanding of like right now, granted, like we don't know what it's going to be in a month, we don't know what's going to be like in the next week, but when do you think, as of right now, when you're going to be comfortable with going out and doing another tour, like what are you kind of waiting for to happen?
So if I'm going to, like I said, being realistic, I don't think touring's coming back till 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't think touring's going to be a thing next year. And I mean, I've talked to a few of my like doctor friends, or like friends that are in that like realm of things, and or even like family members that are like doctors or whatever. They talk about like, you know, the situation with a vaccine. You know, there may be like a vaccine that'll come out, but like it might not be available for everybody. And I think that like, you know, venues and shows and concerts, like they're going to be so skeptical about these things. So I don't think touring's going to come back until there's like a vaccine that everyone can get at like their local CVS or like their local Walgreens, you know, something that's like accessible to the point where like they have to have proof that they got the vaccine in order to come to the show, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Andreas, you're right. Ticketmaster is trying to implement that. And I think like the way they're trying to go about it is you have to have some kind of negative test within a certain period of time. But that's also not trustworthy either, considering the fact that like within that week before the show, if all like
you could get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's not beneficial. Like I get that they're trying, and it's great, and I appreciate that for them to being like huge advocates of saving some kind of touring like opportunity, but it's not realistic, and we're trying to figure something out. It's really not.
Honestly, I like, you know what? Maybe 2023. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2023.
Right. You
It's
know,
going to be a while for our society to get back to the way it was. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that are kind of back to the way it was, except we just wear masks and like stand kind of far apart from people.
and that's honestly not a big deal to me, honestly. It's
I'm
very
kind of cool with it.
like it's honestly very normal for other countries like Japan. Japan's huge, like, and that's like with simple sickness, like simple colds, simple flus, like they're being genuine to the people around them to not, expose them to, like, I've told this story all the time, but like I used to take a train down to Philadelphia, like Center City, like from the suburbs to like go to work, and there's people like coughing and sneezing. Oh, it's gross. And sometimes like if I hear it or I see it, I get it, like it's there, and then I'm sick the next day. I'm like, great, like this could have been preventable. You know what I mean? Like, and that's simple shit.
These things do like spread fast, and obviously you got to be careful. And then obviously you have to live your life. You got to find a happy medium.
Right.
But I think touring's going to be off for a while. But like Zach said, I'm looking forward to being more creative and working around that, because that's what we got to do. Like, we have to work around that. And I've been working on an album this year, and next year I'm ready to I'm going to do videos and make it just like super fun. And I'm just going to do whatever I can to like get people's attention on the internet, kind of thing.
That creativity is there. Oh, have you ever thought of like joining another band itself aside from solo acts? Like, I know you had Tyler Carter feature on one of your songs, but he's non-existent in Issues. Like, is that ever an opportunity you would try to reach out and get and do, or do you want to stick with local stuff, like your solo stuff?
I think the idea of singing for another band sounds fun, but I don't know if you guys watch Parks and Rec. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
So Ron Swanson has a saying. It's, you never half-ass two things, always whole-ass one thing.
Yeah.
So there's been many times where I have been like, oh, that'd be so fun to do, or like, oh, that'd be like pretty beneficial or whatever. But at the end of the day, I need to whole-ass my music career. So I just only need to focus on my own music. I can't do anything else until I'm in a place with my own like music, with my own project, that I feel comfortable enough to try something else.
Yeah. Dude, I respect the hell out of your perspective with that stuff, because you have such a good like outside looking in of really what you need to be doing. Because I mean, anybody that has an ounce of success doing something on their own, obviously you're automatically going to think like, what can I attach myself to amplify the success even more?
Exactly.
Like, you are a perfect example of utilizing everything that you've worked for and just kind of building upon it. Like you said, like a small business, reinvesting in yourself. Yeah. And I think a lot of more young creatives have to hear stuff like that it's okay to invest into yourself, especially if you have success. Like, people obviously like what you're doing. Like, shit, man, just keep pumping it back in and let's like give them more of what they want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only thing you can do. That's the thing. Yep. Like, and I've been trying to do this whole thing since I was 18. I'm 27 now.
You're still doing it. You know what I mean?
I'm still trying, but things are a little bit different now, but I'm still trying. And I have a lot of friends who maybe be older than me, or they're younger than me, or they're the same age. They're trying to do the same thing. And they have a lot of moments where they're like, man, this shit's hard. I feel like I should tap out. I feel like I should just, and I'm like, that's the thing. You can't. The whole point of this thing is that you can't. Like, even like look at movie makers, or like the Hamilton play.
Yeah, dude.
That guy worked on it for 10 years.
Amazing story, dude.
Worked on it for 10 years, and then he did the play like DIY or whatever for a certain amount of time, and then it got picked up, and now it's huge. Damien Chazelle, the guy who did La La Land, he also like wanted to do La La Land for like 10 years, and then finally some of his other movies got like recognition, and then the movie studio was like, all right, we'll let you do La La Land. It's like, these things take time, and at the end of the day, you can't really be insecure about how old you are or how far you've come if you're just working towards that one thing. You're working for one thing. You're whole assing one thing.
Whole
assing one thing. That's what you got to do.
No, that's genius too. Because like Zach and I do the cover stuff. I mean, being in an original band, like it's cool. Like we're still small, and like we will release music eventually. But like I would rather not. I had opportunities to join other bands. I'm like, dude, no. Like it's just so exhausting already. Like I can't put my mental idea into something else that is completely original, far from what I'm already doing right now. So it just
if you believe in the band that you're in, whole ass that band.
Yeah. My friend Schuler, he's because I'm actually starting to manage him now. He was on The Voice back in season 5. Like the dude's really talented. Like love that kid.
Awesome, dude. That's really cool.
And he wanted. I was like, dude, like, because he wants me to manage him. I'm like, oh, like, all right, let's bet, let's go. And he's like, I was like, do you think that we should like sign you up for a band? Like, would you want to be in a band? Like, because I know like I have a lot of connections in that industry. He's like, no, I just really want to stay solo. I was like, all right, that's cool. Let's focus on your solo. Like, it's understandable. It's like I'm not gonna push him to somewhere else where he's uncomfortable. But like, it's the same with the whole assing. Like, he's so well rounded with what he's already doing as a solo artist that there's no reason to keep just doing that alone, because you start to wear yourself out too thin in the perspective of you're putting yourself in different projects, and like that's already morally exhausting as it is. So I totally see that.
And like the other thing is, like, let's say you do try another project, and let's say that project takes off, then you'll be in that project, committed to that project, missing the other project, the thing that you actually want to be doing.
True. Yeah. That is very true.
There's a lot of dynamics in it. I remember, I've had some like the issues thing, you know, like, or just like trying out for a band. You know, people be like, oh, you should do this, you should try out for this, and in my head, I'm like, that sounds fun, but that's not, you know, that ultimately that's not the goal. You know, I got a whole ass the thing I've been whole assing for the last few years.
Are you like more passionate about? Because we kind of touched on it a little bit, so I'm trying to phrase the question correctly so you can answer it the way I'm hoping you're going to answer it. I don't want to, it's not like an ego thing. I don't think it is at all for you to be by yourself. What I'm trying to say is it because you want to do the solo thing the way you're doing it? Obviously, you're successful with it. Is it because that you have something that you have to say through songwriting? Or is it because that like it's worked so far, like let's just continue to do this? Is that kind of how it is?
I would say that throughout high school and even a few years after high school, I was in a band and I was working with other people, and I always felt like those people were holding me back, not intentionally, but just
I feel that, man. Like,
you know what I mean?
Makes
like
total sense.
And you know what? And being in your perspective as a vocalist, like you're able to walk away and continue your journey the way you want it to, because you know those people are not as passionate and dedicated as you are, and that's okay. Because like I felt that there were times in my career where I was in a metalcore band. I'm like, you know what? They're not on the same level I am. I'm gonna move on and do something. You know what I mean? Like, I have to.
Even Bring Me the Horizon was like, hey, we got to move on. We got to move on.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
And it's really nothing against those people too, because I love all the experience I've had with all the band members I've had in the past. You know, like I've been in and out of different members and stuff, and you know, I'll be like, oh, I want to go on tour, and one of them will be like, I can't, I gotta work. Or I'll be like, oh, I want to go in the studio and record. I can't, I don't have the money to do it. So it just kind of got to a point where it's like, you know what? I play guitar, I write songs, I play bass, I sing, I write lyrics. Why don't I just do this myself? And why don't I just fund it myself? Why don't I just deal with everything myself and just try that, you know? And ever since I made that decision, everything has been so much more like relieving, you know? I make everything, all the decisions myself. I don't have anybody saying, I don't like that lyric, or I don't like this riff, or I don't like this idea for the video, or I don't like this shirt. Like, no one's telling me no, you know?
Right, so exactly.
That's why I'm just like very...
You can make a top 10 anime whatever fucking song you want,
and they're not
like, and that's what it's gonna be.
That's what it's gonna be, yeah. And I wouldn't say it's an ego thing. I would just say it's like a freedom thing, you know? Because at the end of the day,
I think ego was a bad way of me saying it, because that's
I'm
not trying to say that at all. It's
no, for sure. I remember I played a show around the time that Heroes and Villains came out, the album cover with my face, like myself in the superhero suit.
Yeah.
And this chick comes up to me and she's just like, "What the fuck is up with this album?" She's like, "Why are you so like? Why are you on the cover?" She was like, "I didn't like it. Like, why are you so full of yourself?"
Who the fuck is
and I was like, wait, what do you mean? Why am I on the cover? Who else is supposed to be on the cover? She was like your band, and I was like,
"Hi, what's up? It's me."
And I was like, I don't have a band. I write all the songs myself, and I have a producer who produces it. Like, I hire my friends to play with me live, but they're not like, they don't write the music. I write the music. She was like, "Oh, well, still, I don't get it. Like, I don't like this album, and I don't get why it's all about you all of a sudden." And I was like, I don't get why you don't get that. I don't understand how this doesn't make sense to you. Like,
I can name like
there's Drake, there's Kehley, there's Rihanna. Like, there's artists who
Post
released
Malone did it with White Iverson, dude. Like, I can name like 70 artists right now that do that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand why you're so confused right now. And then she came out to me like 3 or 4 more times throughout the night. She kept getting drunk, and she was just like, "I don't like this album. I can't believe that you released it." And I was like, "I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you."
I'm sorry. I'm not aiming towards you. Like,
at the end of the show, I saw her in the audience having a great time. She comes in, she was like, "That was such a fun set." She was like, "But for real, we need to talk about this album. What the fuck is going on here? Like, why? Like, same old broken record." And I was like, "Look, I already heard you say this 4 times tonight. I get that you don't understand that I am a solo artist, and I get that you don't like the record, but there's nothing I can do that's going to make you happy. So I think you should just walk away."
So weird.
That is a bizarre experience. And what's going to happen is, like, she's already wrong as it is. So when, everything comes full circle, she's like, "Oh my God, like, I should really apologize to him." Like,
oh my God.
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I was talking about like being like the restaurant owner, right? Where I make sure I talk to people and I thank them.
Mm-hmm.
With that comes the critics, though. Just like the same way the restaurant has the Yelp reviewers or the people who are like not afraid to tell them to their face, "Oh, my hamburger was a little dry," or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Even though they're cooking up like hundreds of meals in like minutes, you know what I mean? Like,
I with doing that, I do have people that come up to me and they have a lot to say sometimes, and it's just like, okay, well, the customer's always right?
So how do you mentally deal with that? When like you put a lot of work into something, and maybe because every songwriter goes through this where you think something's really good, and then let's say it's not 1 or 2 people, it's a whole group of people that think it's complete garbage. Like, how do you mentally process that kind of stuff?
I don't really think I need to process it. I think that no matter what, people are going to have their opinions, and there's no reason to let it affect you or even try to convince them otherwise. Like I said, like with that girl, I said, "You know what? I understand that you don't like it. I don't have anything to tell you that's going to make you feel better." So,
True.
And sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I don't like the way you do this," or "I don't think you should do this." And I'll be like, "All right, well, I hear you. I understand. I understand you have an opinion. I don't have, you know what I mean? I think sometimes people think they're giving you like constructive criticism or something. But at the end of the day, music is just, just your art. You can't tell somebody to paint differently, or you can't tell somebody to.
I think you're giving people a little bit too much credit. I don't think they think it's constructive criticism. I think it's a lot of envy, and I think it's because you're doing it your way. It's such a rare thing, man.
In a way, I guess, yeah.
The way I see it is like the same way how we can talk about Star Wars movies and be like, this one, it wasn't my favorite, or this one was for this reason or that reason. I think some people are just different, I would never go up to J.J. Abrams and be like, "Hey, dude,
no way.
Love your movies, but this decision you made in the Star Wars movie, I didn't like that.
Could have done this better, bro."
I would never do that. But I will have that conversation with, you guys are my friends.
Yeah, like, just like knowing what it's like as an artist to really like open yourself up. If you've ever done that before, it fucking sucks sometimes. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying sometimes to do that.
Well, it sounds like that to you, though. I mean, but Andreas like releases great music and has a plethora of great fans, and then there's always that one sour grape in the bunch. It's like, you know what?
I think
I'll just push you aside.
I've gotten a lot of hate. And I think,
fuck
honestly,
that hate,
dude, I think I'm just like used to it. Like, I'm 27. I've been releasing music since I was like 15 years old. I've had people hate me on a local level. I've had people hate me on an international level. And at the end of the day, it's just like, it's just people expressing their opinions. People express their opinions on everything. Yeah. I really can't let it, like, it doesn't affect me. It's just like, this person just felt like they needed to express their opinion.
Yeah, like
we can tell it doesn't affect you, dude. It seems like you're comfortable in your own skin. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what life's all about, man.
Like, perfect example. Having a good time. I think I've seen 2 live shows recently streamed from the pandemic. One of them was the Wonder Years with my girlfriend. The other one was Dance Gavin Dance when they released Afterburner, and I saw a lot of fans complain to Dance Gavin Dance about not playing Nothing Shameful, and I was like, oh, like,
crazy. I thought they would have played that song. That song's like,
it slaps. It's so good, dude. It's so fucking good. It slaps. But like, you know what? Like, I wasn't mad, but then I also like had conversations with Ben and Dave from Covet about.
How did that work? Why was it Ben and the what's his name?
Dave from Covet.
Dave from Covet. Yeah. That's like
so I've had Dave on before. I had Dave on before. And we had Zach and I'm a little drunk. Zach and Ben on. We had Zach and Ben on at the same time for Strawberry Girls, and I just came up with this idea for what's it called?
A good drink it or leave it.
It's drink it or leave it, yeah. But like, it's a segment. So I came up with this new segment, and I was like, Ben, do you drink? Because like Dave and I talked about IPAs prior before we recorded, so I was like, I'm gonna hit him up, and then I was like, I should get another guest on, so there'd be 4 of us. And I was like, Ben, do you drink IPAs?
That's a fun idea.
Right. And I was like, Ben, do you drink IPAs? He's like, yeah, kind of, not really. I was like, well, Dave from Covet's on, and I was like, and he's like, dude, I used to like jam with Covet. I was like, we're on the same side of the country and shit. I was like, all right, let's make it happen. Like, and it fucking happened, dude. Zach bailed. Like, he bailed on Wednesday for you. So, I mean, like, you know.
Wait, Zach bailed?
I did.
Oh, this Zach. Oh, I thought you were talking about Zach Garrett.
Yeah, not Zach Garrett. Zach Kehley. Fucking pussy.
Dude, why couldn't I do it? Did I have to work that day?
I don't know. We rescheduled because something happened with Dave not making it, and then
Dave had to go to the studio that day, or he was long in the studio.
Yeah, and then the following week, I think you had to do something on a Sunday, and I was like, you know what, we have to do it. Like,
because I put a lot of not like to like put fucking blame on anybody, but I like set aside the time that day. I was like, okay, we're gonna do it this day, and that obviously like shit happens, so it's just like I was like,
yeah, for sure.
That's what happens when you're married, man.
That's life. That's life.
All right, so the Workhorse Brewing Co. Pale Ale, American Pale Ale. What are we thinking?
I like this one more than the Daisy Cutter.
Yeah, me too. Sure. Yeah.
I would say 4 and 4. 4, I like it. 4, I drink it again.
4 and 4. I like that. I'll definitely give it like a 4 or 2 for drinkability, and then 4, I drink it again, because this is something that I could easily drink a 6-pack of and just fall on my face.
You know what? I think the aftertaste of this is really like, good. The aftertaste of this one is like pleasant, and it makes you want to.
It's very herby.
Like makes you want to drink it again. Yeah. The aftertaste. The aftertaste is pleasant.
Okay. Yeah, I go 3.3 for it. That's where I go.
Dude, you have the best ratings, man.
Dude, I gotta put it in like a queue, bro. It's just like it's.
Well, you're making your own hops and shit, so I'm
fancy, man.
At this point,
this is no game, man.
Fancy, huh? Are you fancy, huh? Are you fancy, huh? Yeah, dude, I believe it, man. You should be like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's a wild ride when you see those things, because it grows and it looks like pot.
Yeah.
So it smells like pot too. I think they're very related. Like with
they are.
Yeah.
When so my wife, I don't know if you know what hydroponic gardening is.
I'm guessing weed gardening?
No.
I wish.
So hydroponic gardening is where it's essentially it's a plastic apparatus where you put soil pods with a seedling, and it has a hydration system that circulates the entire time. So you could theoretically put it's not even theoretically, you can do this all the time, is you can put a hydroponic gardening system in your house, and you can have stuff growing all year. So you plant it vertically. So instead of like a farm where it's laid out across the ground and you have to buy acreage, hydroponic farms are built in warehouses, and they're going vertically, and it's more space. So
makes sense.
My wife got heavy into that during the pandemic. That was like kind of her thing that she was exploring. And I started brewing more beer again. And I was like, man, like I would love to own like a beer where I can make my own hops off the side of my damn house and have guests over and be like, that's like my thing. So we found out like it's really simple to buy a hop root and grow it, and there you go, hops. So the hardest part about it is cultivating the root to where it actually produces a seedling and then vines up, and it grows like an inch or two a day. It's insane.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. It's a lot of it's actually not nothing. Like you really don't do anything. It's very low maintenance. It's great, but it's like the beginning of it is pretty intense, because to get to become a seedling is pretty wild. Because the likelihood of it's very low. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, but it's fun, man. I haven't brewed a beer yet with the hops that I've cultivated myself. So I'm super excited to do it. But
I would be too. That sounds exciting. I like to cook, so it's kind of like
I'm the same way.
You grew your own vegetables, and now you're getting ready to like add them into your cooking kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing, man. If that's like what you're passionate about, it's the same thing.
The local brewery here, Lengthwise, they actually have their hops growing along the building. So like you literally see it like draping down the building. It's like pretty sick. Cool.
Yeah.
It grows way more than you would anticipate, like very quickly. Yeah. What's really weird about it, so after there's different strains of it, like there's different strains of weed. I didn't realize that there is actually like proprietary, not patents, but licensing to certain strains of hops that you can't grow and sell commercially. I think it's
that's very strange.
I think Amarillo is one of them, which is a very popular one, but that's an owned strain of hops.
That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah. That's very interesting. I mean, I guess the best way to connect that is with weed having their own strains. Like you can grow that strain. Maybe you just can't call it Amarillo. Maybe you have to call it something else. Or
maybe. We're getting to that point where that's going to be a completely common thing, though. So,
yeah, I see.
Biohacking strains of weed and hops.
Oh my god, dude! Yo, you know what's fascinating? Like from the time that we started talking to you, Andreas, it was like completely bright out, and now it's starting to like the sun is setting behind you, and it's glorious.
Yeah, I had to turn the light on, so.
Dude, I had 100% charge on this Mac, and now I'm down to 6%.
How about 5%? We've been talking for fucking 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna end this right now. So, dude, honestly, this was a great time for Drinker to Leave It. Like we had a couple 3 IPAs, and we'll definitely do something again in
best
person.
Best podcast I've ever done.
I appreciate you, dude. Stop. That means the world.
You guys sent me these 3 beers in the mail. And we had a great time. I can't think of a better podcast. If anyone else wants to do a podcast with me, take notes.
Yeah, honestly. Next time, they better start like testing out weed strains instead of alcohol. Like, that's got to be the next step, too.
I actually don't smoke weed, though.
Neither do we. Neither do we. So,
dude, I do not smoke weed at all. Yeah, I'm not like against it. I just.
Yeah, neither do we. Don't worry. We're not.
I just don't.
We're just for Zach and I. We're legally not allowed to smoke weed, but
like, why?
I have a CDL, and he's doing his other thing, which we can't say on air, but he's doing his other thing.
I'm a very asthmatic.
That'll fuck you up. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I'm just not. I like having smoke in my lungs.
I had a professor in college that said it actually helped his asthma smoking weed. Have you heard that?
I've heard people say that, but I don't care, man. At the end of the day, having smoke in my lungs is not comfortable. So I don't.
As a vocalist too, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
But I mean, I have a bunch of friends that do it, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I feel you. But we're gonna sign off. I appreciate you coming on, dude. This is a fucking balling ass time, and
Zach, George, I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you, dude. We look forward to hearing some new music from you for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, next year,
safe,
baby.
Man.